Good morning. Welcome, my beautiful Jasirians, and thank you for tuning in today. If you're a first-time viewer, welcome to Jasiri. This is the place for bold conversations. You are gonna love it here, I promise you. And you, Mamacita, are gonna love me some weather or weather.
So whether like not.
Honestly, I'm not going to take you up on anything because everything about me here is so bright and beautiful.
Do you ever feel like you're playing like a supporting role in the drama?
Honestly, I feel like I'm the passerby. Just so
just like, what's going on sometimes?
Sorry. But honestly, after Monday's heartfelt conversations, that got me crying on national television, then the gbasgbos of yesterday, I want us to kick things off today with something a little lightheaded. I'm taking us all the way to Hollywood, where British Nigerian actor Damson Idris recently won the NAACP.
Is the Damson Idris.
So
if you don't know, I think a lot of people don't remember, he really came, like with social media anyway, aside from the acting, when he did that impression of Denzel Washington. It was so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, who is this guy?
He's my neighbor from Oshodi that year.
Your neighbor from Oshodi.
Hey, Damson, we're not Damson, Idris.
His mom was so calm. My mom would have taken the opportunity to say,
Master Jesus.
Why are we like this? Did you hear him say, first of all, I thank God. As in, we are very, when you say, I think in
hierarchy.
Yoruba, yeah, I think in Yoruba, it comes out better. If if you can ever translate when you say, Pikin we get home training.
Yeah.
Good child. Like,
To make we proud
I'm very proud. And I like the fact that he does seem to embrace a bit of his Nigerian background, He's this child of immigrants who moved to the UK. You can see his mom very happy. I'm surprised Ogele was not going from here to here.
How did you tell? I said, the ostrich in my headpiece has to touch Hollywood roof.
Look, no matter how subtle it is, there's still that Nigerianness in every Nigerian mother. Because if you look at it, he did not ask the woman to stand up. But she really
already stood up.
She just stood up.
How can he be talking about me? Do you know how many hours of labor I went through?
She had to stand up.
I don't tell you, you need to know me. It's me.
It's me.
Now me born any suffer lórí ẹ̀. Baba, I'll tell all the story. I suffered. I'll throw in a few tears.
But you know what? We'll also talk about this when we have our topic, because I'm very sure when he said he wanted to be an actor.
Don't go.
Is that
when I said the things I
conversation?
wanted to be in the hierarchy of how it came to me as a child, oh God, I know every response from then till now.
Yeah.
So we as African parents or mothers, we struggle. We struggle with the decision that our children.
But the funny thing is, I think I
children-
see it more in the fathers than the mothers.
Believe me, no.
I think so.
Who raised
why?
Because I've seen cases where the mothers don't exactly agree, but at the same time
They will support. Oh, mommy is my
yeah,
child.
like they're not as stern as.
Well,
maybe
I'm
it's
speaking,
bad.
this was my mother. So, donc, la femme là, wow.
But please, there was something else in that video we need to talk about. That
Moving
was
on.
No, we cannot move on because I'm his sister wife. There was Damson Idris, but then there was an Idris Elba. Thank you. My producer is on top of the job.
How does the producer know exactly what
Because we are in sync.
I am not into Idris Elba at all. The thing that you guys
Please
find
go to the doctor and go and check
sexy in him,
take your glasses
I am
again.
still looking for
Go
it.
and check your eyesight again, Lobo.
No, I know a couple of you that are Idris.
Idris
Please,
wherever you are, we are Idris-fied. We are sister wives to Idris wives. So the funny thing is, I think they did a campaign for maybe Calvin Klein 2 weeks ago. And so Sabina, that's his wife, was on the red carpet. And she actually hailed her sister wife. She knows that she's just helping us keep
She's one of the wives.
She's one of the wives. I love her already. Keep him.
Yeah,
but it's a good thing to mention him as well, because let's see, we see some Nollywood, Hollywood meeting up.
he's going to be directing.
Exactly. I love it. He's
Yes,
working
here
with
in
Mo
Nigeria.
Abudu to direct a new film under the Ebony Life stuff, and you have Seal is also going to be part of that. Inse is supposed to be part of that. It's going to be interesting. I love what's happening.
No, they didn't put me. So I don't know how the film can sweet though.
We keep talking
it
about
might have small sugar, but I don't know if the sugar will be enough.
Most of it's okay. Really?
She called you today again. No?
Do you feel me today? I
She
said
called
you're
you
gonna love
today
me more.
again. No.
No,
So when
I
I
don't
say
know.
motivation,
Why are you
just-
calling me by my
Can you just calm down?
given name?
Can you calm?
I
Because they
think that
put your
I
head
need
into.
maybe a-
That's why your brain has split into.
I honestly think that I need a kind of shield because the day that they will throw something, I feel like
Which
it's me that
side do you want to
collects
put the shield on? You'll not be just bumpered on both sides.
it. I don't mind.
I
though.
was talking about evolution, guys. I was
Okay,
talking
sorry.
about there's a natural invisible shift. Like they say, the worlds are merging. You know when they say the worlds of this world and the worlds of the other world, it's like the worlds are coming down because
What other
suddenly
world?
Hollywood is meeting Nollywood.
Being specific because I thought you were going spiritual.
I thought it was spiritual.
I was getting.
I was just saying, Holy Ghost fire.
No, I'm saying that. Hollywood now is meeting Nollywood. You never know. Then there's going to be Hollywood. There's going to be. What I'm saying
There
is
was
that
Nollywood, Bollywood,
Yeah,
I think about 2 years
it's
ago.
not really
Even though
so
that film
far-fetched
made me cry,
anymore.
it was-
Before you say Hollywood, just sit down and be dreaming of
Yeah.
the likes of Sean Connery, the likes
They
of
know your
Richard
age when you're
Gere,
mentioning Sean
the
Connery.
likes of.
And I would like, I think that I get what you're
Johnny
saying because
Depp,
recently I
yeah.
saw
Please
a
don't mention
video
Johnny
of, is it Tauma and one other.
Oh, Terry
skit maker.
Crews.
I was like, oh my God.
When I
this is
saw it, I didn't know it was
amazing.
her. I was like, wait, but this character
Yeah.
looks familiar. Then I kept
Oh,
looking
it was
again.
so good. Like the fusion, I'm like,
You guys haven't seen it. Well, send it to the group. And that's how we have arrived. Nigerians, we have arrived.
I so much
Eh?
love it.
They will know we are here. We are present.
And when we come, we always come correct.
correct.
We milk it to the bone.
Absolutely. So let me ask you that, coming back to Damson Idris, which we love, but this really is a beautiful reminder of the power of love and gratitude and the importance of honoring those who have played a significant role in your lives. So when I was younger, I actually prepared a speech for one award I was going to win.
You?
Yeah, I was like that.
Correct.
I've always been the creative
Your
sector.
mama born you. Jesus.
Mama,
born you well.
Okay. Anyway, ladies,
My
if
Lord.
you were to receive an award, lifetime achievement, honorary, whatever it would be, who would you say thank you to?
You mean
After
who, like
God.
in plural?
After
Because
God.
it's
So
not
that's
one
my
person.
problem. They
can't
said I
be
should
one
ask you the one person. It's
No,
not
it's not
possible.
one person.
It can't
Okay,
be.
I'll give you three. Quick, 3 people.
Well, I want to say thank you, Lord, for
I
your
said after
guidance.
God. We've assumed God.
But I thought you said we should give a speech.
After God.
Okay, you have 15 seconds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, Jesus.
I quite did not expect this, but well, I give God the glory because without Him, we'll not all be here.
10 seconds.
Then, secondly, I want to thank my children for supporting their sometimes difficult mommy.
5 seconds.
And then, no, don't they start playing the music. It's not 5 seconds, they used to call because
They will come to you and tap your shoulder and escort you on
arguing with the driver?
And then, after my children, I just want to thank our fans, me.
Okay,
Because
thank you.
without I
Moving
wouldn't
on.
be here.
Blessings.
It's my mom. My mom. I honestly would have loved to say, hey, my man, thank you to my man. You know, kind of thing. I would have and eventually, I will. But for now, my mom, my family, and my dog, Archer.
Oh,
for making
Archer
me
will soon join us
come?
on set.
Why did he come into our
Thank you
life?
so much for this opportunity.
I want to say thank you to everyone, especially my mother of blessed memory. Thank you for making me feel special and supporting me. My elder sister.
No, it's not a real award.
My
Let her practice.
children. For me, I'm called Ya Ara Ire Olanimi.
Yeah.
Thank
Sounds
you
like
so
a
much.
rap.
I love you.
Ara
And to
Ire.
my invisible man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, baby,
my
for
own.
keeping it together at home, even though there's nobody at
To do
home.
my own now.
Yes.
Mr. Balogu, I thank you.
Whatever. Okay. I'm so my God. I didn't expect this. Oh my God. Okay, I'm trying. Okay.
Time's
I
up.
want to first thank
10
God.
seconds.
You know He's the author and the finisher. Thank you so much, Jehovah, Father.
And she
You're the
still
one
went back
making
to
this
the God.
Hallelujah.
I want to thank my husband, Boo. I love you. Thank you so much, Mr. Balogo. You're the wind beneath my wings. Oh my God. I want to thank Amakorede. Mommy loves you. When I'm not around, you know why, and I'm back. And then I want to thank our fans, me. I would not be able to do this if it was not for you.
Love it.
I forgot. I wanted to pull an Osas on it, or I'd be like, God is good. Jesus is great. God did it. I was watching Osas Acceptance, and I was like, am I in church? Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. I'm
Did
going
she
with that.
twerk to it?
Yeah.
Did she twerk to it?
You know she doesn't need to twerk. It's just natural.
It moves on
It
its
just
own.
moves on it. It
Please,
just-
we need to go on a break
Jiggle,
before we get in
jiggle.
trouble.
Anyways, with that, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, the phone lines will be open. Yay! We're taking some trips down memory lane and reminiscing on growing up in Nigeria. Well, I'm still growing up, Sha. I'm still in my growing up phase, but I'm here representing the Gen Z Association. The number to call is +234 7055 727272. Remember, I said after the break, so stay tuned. Jasiri will be back in a moment.
All right, guys, welcome back. We are Jasiri and we're streaming live on our social media platforms. We're at News Central TV. Please use the hashtag Jasiri and be part of the conversation so we know you're watching. I don't know where today's conversation will take us, but producer, we may need some tissue for my girl Lolo.
Honestly, I don't know, but you
she's
guys
already
are getting me all teary. Like, this love on this table. It's
What
a
love?
lot.
I'm not part of them. Oh.
Wow. Just Coco call me crybaby with your full chest. It doesn't matter. I can take anything. Anyway, our upbringing in Nigeria has left an indelible mark on each of us, shaping who we are today in profound ways. But before we get into it, remember, we want to hear from you too. So share with us your childhood memories and experiences using the hashtag Jasiri and call us on 234-7255-727272. And let's start with childhood memories. What are some of your fondest recollections from growing up in Nigeria? Was there a particular moment that stands out for you? Girls, what was your moment? In Nigeria, not Cameroon.
Hey! Now you're threatening me.
I think mine will be cooking sand.
Oh, did you cook sand?
Oh, I
How old
did.
are you? You're still a baby. How can you cook sand? We are the generation of
cook
sand
sand?
cookers.
I cook sand. Oh my God, I cooked a lot of sand. Then sometimes to make it more realistic, I would add a little.
It was plain now.
No, but that was
When you
our
put
thing.
water,
Yes, sometimes I try to make it because
In the early
we
80s.
then we used firewood, so I'll just take the ones that still had the smoke, I'll just put it together, put a small pot, and then I melted my mother's rubber, so and then I'll just pour sand, and then to make it more realistic, I'll just put a little rice, and then I had this teddy bear, so I bore a hole in the mouth, and I was always feeding it. So yeah, I wanted to
teddy bear
feel
was full of sand?
responsible. What?
Did it?
You filled your teddy bear.
No, no, I didn't. I was watching its weight for it, so I didn't feed it all the time. But yeah, there was a lot of feeding. And then I always influenced my younger sister. Like I have a younger sister, and then her friend, because we're all friends. Then I was like, yeah, so I'll just tell them, you guys go and bring. Oh, we did chocolate cake.
With
There's
what?
this Neuros biscuit. No, Speedy biscuit. Speedy. It's
I'm
purple.
definitely the wrong person for you to be
Oh
pointing
my
to.
God! It's Speedy
She had
biscuit.
that
It's
upbringing
purple,
in their
and then
blood.
we'll melt it, and then we'll start turning it and turning it and turning it, and then it doesn't turn to a cake. My friend's birthday was coming up. The mom wanted to pay for a cake, and we said no, we can't make cake. And then we made chocolate cake. They used spoon, but it wasn't nice.
It was nice.
I'm the OG.
I felt traumatized.
I'm very traumatized on behalf of her
actually
childhood.
hear that? Say they use spoon.
I loved it. And then when things are not going my way,
Do
all
not
the children.
forget to call us because we can't be the only one
With
enjoying
childhood
these
memories.
memories. So please pick up your phone and call 07055 72727. Save it on your phone so that just put
Save it as
Jasiri.
Jasiri.
So
Exactly.
that every time put it on speed dial.
Oh, do you guys know
When-
that? I heard that Asiri in Igbo means gossip.
That
or
what?
gist. Asiri in Igbo.
But the show name is not Asiri.
It's not as serious.
It's just like Jara to
But
be
you know
Asiri,
everybody
Ja,
asking
Asiri.
the meaning. That Jasiri is so cute. Somebody was even thinking that it was Jashiri.
I was expecting my Yoruba people to come from Jasiri.
That open secret. I said no.
Well, we do that
Well,
too.
we love it. It
do that
works.
too.
It works. But you can thank me for the name. Thank you very much. It was a stroke, a master stroke of brilliance on my.
No.
Yes.
Give it to her.
Yeah.
For me, my
Yeah.
childhood memory, what did I not enjoy? I would now everybody have bastardized jollof rice. And
You know, it was
but
special.
unfortunately for us in the early years, in the early 80s, for us, rice was eating on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it was something you looked forward to. And the rice would be so rich. And it starts in the morning. We start our morning on Sunday with yam and either fish sauce or corned beef sauce. It was the bomb. As in, my family was polygamous. So my stepmom would cook all the time. So it was always yummy and the yam would be soft. They will now graduate into the afternoon with rice, jollof rice. All through church. The only thing you remember is
You're thinking of
There's rice at home.
jollof rice.
Rice at home.
And if it's not jollof rice, it will be rice and fried stew with chicken. And then we didn't reach to buy like frozen chicken.
It was
So
live.
it was usually live chicken. And they'll give her the wings. That's when I developed my love for wings. Then the evening will culminate with eba and a wedu soup with probably fish. So Sunday was such a dynamic place in my house that it's a day where we feast.
What happened beyond Sunday?
Exactly. I think
I honestly, I said
Do
to
not
mommy to
remember.
lie. On Monday morning when I'm going to primary school, they will give me a bowl and Iyarisi.
You
down
buy
the
from
street,
her.
You buy rice on your way to school, but the rice used to sweet too.
Yeah.
so.
with pepper
Would you
stew.
think that then and now the sweetness of the rice has changed or has?
I
changed,
honestly
or-
think everything has changed because
think
if you haven't
everything has
cooked rice
changed.
in recent times, have you noticed that rice spoils so quickly?
Some, depending.
Some of this
Especially
rice
fried.
that we see.
That fried rice has a mind.
No,
of
fried
its own.
rice
not
is
fried rice.
only
I
It
mean
does
the
not have
rice itself. I've cooked rice today, and the next morning it's already drawing, and I'm like, what's going on?
That's why I
Because
eat local rice. It doesn't happen with local rice.
maybe because sometimes they don't allow this rice dry because of the demand.
Yeah.
So they just pack anything. So sometimes they come to us,
It's already in some sort of
Yeah.
process already.
But do you remember Uncle Ben's rice?
Lolo.
If we're going there,
Let's go there.
it's amazing the kinds of memories that stick with you. You have a lot of memories actually that play out, but like Lola said, growing up in different, what would I?
Say it in French.
Oh, mama.
Times.
Non, des pays différents.
Okay, we said
Yeah,
say
we
in
get
French.
it now.
We get it.
We get it.
Continue.
We didn't understand in English. Now we understand in French.
Pay
We get
different.
it now.
At least I know different is that different.
And she said you should pay. Or pay
When
differently.
you grow up in different environments, the memories that you have differ.
Yeah.
When in Calabar, I remember the memories I remember fondly, of course, the shopping memories when you go to Bata by choice or Leventis.
Oh my
or,
God.
Yeah, I remember that. Or drinks like Tree Top. There was something Tree Top.
The powdered one that they mix in your bowl.
Do you understand? So when
We
you
used to lick it.
yeah, exactly.
the citrusy thing.
And then we warn you cannot lick it like that and forget yourself
Yeah.
because it's this thing of things are expensive. Not be today. We've been hearing it since. When you go to the market, you have to put your eye down. If you say you are buying Gary and they tell you this, you have to price. You have to price. Till today we are still pricing. Is it something that we are used to? It's become such an intrinsic part of us.
Yeah.
But I remember shopping when you go to shop for the house and you're putting things, and some I don't remember. Nasco biscuits.
The king of
those.
biscuit.
So I
Nasco
remember.
biscuit.
Is it the one
all
with
of
the
flavor.
ostrich?
Nasco biscuits.
Or is that Oking?
Which one?
There's one that has
Nasco is Nasco. Original
No, it's
Nasco.
Oki biscuit
Oh,
that
that's
had the
Oki.
spread
But
of
cabin
the-
biscuits was our jam because we used to
yeah.
fry it.
Cabin.
Did you eat fried
Cabin and
cabin biscuit?
groundnuts, yes, my grandfather used to get us. So it's then that's on one side. On then
the Cameroon side.
Cameroon
Oh,
side.
there, my people, it's plenty. Should I keep going? It's plenty.
Okay, let me come in.
Don't
Okay, I
forget to
think
call
that
us.
is-
We're waiting for you to call us. Yes, call us on
The
this
number to
phone
call is
number.
+234 7055 7272.
It would be lovely.
Please, can you say it in normal balance? Let them hear well.
The number where you supposed to call now +234 7055 7272.
It's like a joke. It's like
All
a
right,
song.
but ladies, there's also the part of your family shaping who you are, like creating
Yeah.
values, instilling values in you. I would never forget that every 5 a.m. for no reason. Like, we're supposed to wake up at 6. God bless you.
This two clap is in every
The clap
home.
is not in the parlor.
This is
They will
the
not be coming to your room.
day. This is the day that the Lord has made.
that the Lord.
I will rejoice.
Heavenly Lord,
Your name is wonderful. Is this two clap? Pa, pa. My mother will even do pa, 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 pa.
I worship you, Lord, for you are
mighty. You got the whole world in
When
your
I went to school,
Sing that song.
of course, when you go to school, you now start hearing other music, you want to evolve. So when I come home and then we're singing, and I just remember one Western song,
For
and I want
where?
to, as long as it doesn't follow that, pa, pa, my mother will look at you like, to
Exactly.
look for a song. Okay, in the morning.
In the morning, I will
Let's hear Toulouse because ours is foreign.
No, I'm just looking at you guys like, okay.
It's true.
So we left when I was really quite young. I think I was about 4 going on 5. So all these things I talk about is so very different from me.
Okay, but
extremely different.
Let's hear
so on
the
this
foreign
particular
talk.
part
so
about
how did she
family,
still learn to speak Yoruba?
that's it. On this part about family dynamics, my dad talks about a family member, Daddy Lauren, that went to them when we were leaving and said, if you do nothing else for me, make sure that this girl was the last born. All my sisters were already speaking Yoruba, that she speaks Yoruba. My father took it like gospel truth. So once you enter my house, it's Yoruba. English is outside, and my parents are from Ogbomoso. So if you've heard my Yoruba, it's very Ogbomoso Yoruba. So I remember it's always been a core memory for me. I remember coming home from school wanting to eat. My dad was the one home that day, and he said I have to say it in Yoruba. I had to say Mufe Jeon rice or whatever it was. Do you know it took me an hour? I was breaking down. I always remember as a core memory. I was breaking down in tears. This man was sitting down with his marks. When you're ready, to Bashetan, oh son, can't as in, so it was crime and punishment to learn the Yoruba, but I appreciate them for that force. Because when I came back and I entered university, my accent was a lot thicker than this. But a lot of people did not know I could speak Yoruba. So they would be talking about me. Oh, my, I always remember they'd be talking about me, the Americana district or something, and I'll just be laughing. Sometimes they'd be, Kilong Palering, why is she laughing? Kinika? Not knowing that every single thing they were saying,
that you can hear what they say.
That I could hear, and it helped me to quickly choose my friends very quickly and wisely. So then I was a PK. So even if I'm not doing early morning service in the house, we are in choir, I'm in drama. My dad says when I grew up, there was a summer, it was me and my sisters, we were out of the house every weekend. Shout out, my sisters with the ball. I learned a lot of habits with them. We're out of the house every weekend. The man said, as long as when I look up from that pulpit, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 a day. You people should do Saturdays. Sunday will not be like this in church. You can't sleep because if you look down, I'm looking straight into my father's eyes.
Oh my God.
My goodness. So when you talk about that family dynamics, as much as, okay, play, you're in a different society. I need to raise you differently than I would if I was in Nigeria. But I know what my family values were. I knew what the Adilerus stood for. And I think we're losing that. I can't remember who came here and was talking about family constitution and putting together like family values, letting your kids know what it means for them to be part of this family. Even though our parents didn't put a constitution in place, there was somehow, you always say, remember, as in very, very, I don't say
But now the culture, I even think we've lost the culture of shame. This generation do not understand shame or something that you would say that would devalue you.
They'll ask you what does shame do for all the people who were shamed.
You know, some of us, our education, I even envy them that now you have tools to learn so quickly.
Yeah.
I learned to speak English from watching Sesame Street. Oh, yes.
I was raised on the street.
Oh, my God. I could never. Honestly, if Sesame Street knew how much impact they played for the children in the early 80s, they would totally take their flowers, because I lived in Nigeria all my life, and that's where I learned to speak very well. I learned to speak so well that people would even ask that, have this child been abroad? And I never went abroad until I was a grown adult.
You know that's happening now. There are children in Nigeria with British accents because of Peppa Pig and whatever the cartoon. Because kids are so quick to pick up accents, they just assimilate. And it's because of the cartoon. This child has never left the country, but because of the exposure. But it also brings us back to exposure. We are in a place where, because there's globalization, there's a culturalization, and then there's appropriation, all the big words and fancy English. Our children are being exposed to so many things, and I still will come back to it. Do they know what their family stands for? In this family, we don't steal, we don't lie. We are upfront, we're this clinic and we're this clinic and we're this. I don't know. I don't know.
I think if there's anything I'm grateful for, there's certain things that my mom instilled in us that even though people sometimes will say, like, I'm the kind of person that if you do something for me, a lot of people get tired of doing things for me because I can thank you for the whole month. My mom would look at you and say, have you thanked God she stopped. Honestly, my mom would look at you and say, have you thanked that man for 2 days ago? I say, I thanked him yesterday. So yeah, go and thank. So also, a lot of times people will say, oh, but it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not. Because I just feel like, I should. I feel like a lot of times you don't know the gravity of what you do for me. And some people will just say, someone sent me 2,000 naira for, I think I was trying to at some time, my app wasn't opening and the person just sent 2,000 naira, and this is someone that, like, the person is younger and sometimes I send him things. So that was his own, opportunity to, and I kept thinking, do do you want to use me for ritual? Okay, there's no problem. You know? So there's certain things that my mom has done for me that a lot of times I just think, I'm like, I'm glad.
So on this, it feels like we want to take the best of what our parents did, because let's be honest, our parents raised us with their own limitations.
Yeah.
So this thank you thing, it drives Corey crazy, but I insist.
Yeah, but we insist.
And I tell her that if I can't hear you, that means the person did not hear you. Go back and say thank you. Go back and say good afternoon. But I said it. I said, did I hear you? If I didn't hear you, if the person doesn't hear you, then it doesn't count. Yeah. So she's frustrated sometimes, and I tell her, you're a Yoruba girl. Your mother, my name is Adileru. I married the Balogun. I know what the Balogun family stands for.
Yes.
Go back and do what I asked.
Yeah, honestly.
But I think the time will come, she will remember that.
She will.
She will look back and remember that, hey, my mother shot, but I thank her, because if not that she insisted, she put her foot down, I wouldn't know the value of things that I know the value of things now, how I know the value of things now.
Let me ask a question.
With so many things.
If you were to look back and, some things that, at some things you did in your childhood that you have the opportunity of correcting for your children, what would it be? I think mine would be, I had a lot of I did a lot of sleepovers. And I think the reason I did that was at some point in my life, I felt inferior. So I wanted to stay at people's houses, people that I felt they were richer, And I feel like right now, I mean, of course, I'm going to be rich. My children don't need to do that. But I'm not going to let my children do that, except maybe there's a party or there won't be too many sleepovers, because at some point you now start wishing like this is your family. So I think that would be mine.
Me, I had like a polygamous family. Honestly, if I had my way, I would have wanted my father to love my mother some more, because I didn't really understand the love of a man. I think even till now, I still struggle with the fact that, you have to seek the attention of a man to get love from them. Because I didn't see it play out. I saw my father do some semblance of love towards my stepmom, but I didn't. And that pushed me out of home. Yeah. I went to stay with people because I felt my home wasn't conducive. Yeah. So I would look at other people's home and think their home is happier, their family is more together, they're more exposed. And unfortunately for me, I had pockets of friends that were quite rich. One of my best friends when I was younger, the Ofures, their mom was a single mom, but she was so rich. As in, I just used to go to their house and I saw it like an escape from
your own
not
place.
My house. We weren't poor, but I just
sort of like the reality.
Yes, so I lived in a bubble for so long. So that's why I go out of my way to give my children their own reality. Like I tell my kids, there's nothing that anyone wants to give you. Every of my children have been abroad. It took me an arm and a leg, but I did it.
Nobody's going to come and do it and impress them.
And impress them.
Absolutely.
So that's what I do on a daily basis. I would never let them feel the brunt of having a need, because I felt needs all my life. I had to, try very hard to validate or to make sure that I merit the things that if you are not in your best behavior, you probably will never get anything.
At this point you make, because I know when you talk to a lot of Nigerians, especially with parents and fathers in particular, it's almost like you always have to hit these milestones. You have to, this whole, I was the first in my class, or certain things, like these milestones, you have to do these things, you have to do what they're asking to be deserving of their love. And I know that's one thing I hope a lot of parents who are raising children now are trying to change. So my parents have been married 55 years.
Jesus.
Or so, and so long, 4 kids and everything. And I remember I never saw them fight. That's something I took into my marriage. So now that sometimes me and my husband might disagree, Corey say you're arguing, I always emphasize, we're not arguing, we are disagreeing. It happens in a marriage and relationships. There's nothing, don't make it bigger than it is, but they didn't fight and we took that. But my father was overprotective. So that's one thing. He had girls, but it's a really, really fine line between being overprotective and ending up hampering your children. And I love my sisters to death. Me and the sister older than me, me and the sister older than me were the adventurous ones. We're the ones who pushed all the boundaries and tore everything down. The older two were very tied to my parents' approval, to my parents saying yes and approving to something. And I saw how it hampered them. So there's a line between that being protective and then being overprotective and growing up having your kids be so tied to you that they're almost dependent on your approval to live their lives. And I think as parents, we need to toe a very fine line.
Yeah.
Yes, there are things that Korede is going to need me to approve.
Okay, Korede, push back. Say, mommy, whoa.
But there's that fine line because
that
I've
fire.
seen it actualized with my sisters, and I don't want that for my daughter. I don't want that for any child. So that boundary, a lot of our parents were very, especially with the girls, were very, very overprotective,
yes,
and it
very
hampered them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Honestly, I like the fact, you know, that there were so many things our parents did that were wrong. Like my father, I don't think they intended to make it come out as wrong. Like when he comes back from work, we didn't see it as welcome. We saw it as a tyrant is home.
Everybody ran.
hide.
Yeah.
And many of us grew up in homes like that. And for me, my children are huggers. They know that touch is one of my biggest love languages. Even amongst you, my friends, I would hug you because I totally love you. And when you touch me, I feel your love. So it's something I was able to instill in my children. And I won't lie. Your children might not prostrate to greet you, but you can be sure that they'll probably hug you and, share some nice.
As opposed to what so many people think, and this is not me talking down on that concept, but one thing that I'm glad has reduced is community parenting. And I would say because when I was younger, I remember then, I was a star student, so I was always coming first in class. But then there was this woman, honestly, I'm thinking about it now, she's not related to us in any way, but she lived like upstairs, my mom's shop was downstairs, and every end of the term, all the children around, my cousins, myself, my brother, my sister, all of us would march to her with our report cards. And once you don't come first to third, there's a cane. Like she literally flogs the heck out of you and then sends you back to your parents.
So that's why you're reluctant about
Community parenting.
That's quite nice.
That's actually a point we're supposed to get to in this conversation as well. But I think we're supposed to go on a break. I don't know. Okay, we still have some few moments before that.
Because that was such an integral part of our lives growing up. Community parenting, social.
It gets too much.
Social life. Because you see, the truth is, if your parent didn't smack you with the cane, I chop cane die. Me. And you know I'm an only girl.
They need to beat you. Your head is, that's why you have two horns. He said, how did you know this conversation will get to that bull-headedness? Sorry, and
No, but
didn't get
seriously,
there. You took
got
it
there. Bull.
No,
Captain Talk.
everybody was a parent then. And if your mother was, your mother would go somewhere and say, Vero, please look after Blessing. So I'm going to work. And it wasn't the thing. It wasn't, your mother would go, not imagining that the worst could happen or anything. But there had to be some things that we took away from that. I mean, you've shared that it wasn't so pleasant for you. I remember the opposite of that. Like you can always go and the kids would always know that maybe Vero's mommy's food was sweeter than my own mother's. So
Yeah.
don't go talk and come outside.
Yeah.
But you will look for, Mama, you're not going to church. We'll go to Mommy Vero's house. And stay. Because we know that the food there was nicer.
Yeah.
And you have another neighbor who, that one is amebo, and she will beat you and go and tell your mother what you did, even when you are silently using your eyes to
So
beg.
you keep yourself well.
And I understand that at that point, Cain, is Cain. Only Cain you're running away from.
I just feel like
my own
it's
is
too
Cain,
much.
hand, everything.
And slippers.
Cane, hand, slippers, shoe, waza. And you would dodge. But
And they'll still catch you.
But do you know that
the one that my mom
just
would
this
say,
point that
"Wait,
Catherine made,
Baba Embo, when your
that
father
was
comes home,
where
I would,
and you kneel down
I would
to
try and
beg.
go and sleep.
You would listen.
Even if you sleep, they will wake you.
wake you.
My mother was teaching me mathematics. Oh God, may your parents not teach you. I tried to avoid the class. I went to sleep. This sleep that we'll go on the
They
bed
will
very
rouse
quickly.
you.
I went to sleep. Do you know it was Ken they used to wake me up? Is it not time for lesson? Is it not time for what are you?
Okay, we need to come back to this
But look
because
at
it
me,
also
I turned
talks
out
about
fine.
what kind of discipline we might be instilling in our children in this generation. But we're going to go for a quick time out. The memories are really taking us there. When we come back, Jasiri will continue. We're having issues with our phone line, so please send a message to us using the hashtag Jasiri. When we come back, it's more conversation. Stay with us.
I really want to impress myself that I can just do this, but I can't. Welcome back to Jasiri. We're talking about growing up in Nigeria and comparing notes on the things that made us different and at the same time the same. Of course, we're Nigerians, so we have to talk about the cultural influences. How did Nigerian culture influence traditions influence your upbringing and identity? Was there a particular tradition or custom that resonated with you that, you still have a fondness for? I know culture, tradition, me, Egugu Calabar, Egugu Calabar, Egugu Calabar. Honestly, till today, I cannot imagine what I did it to my children. It had zero impact. You know, once my mother says, Ojuju Calabar is coming to get you, my sister, nothing keeps you in the state. And none of the bad thing is that none of us ever saw Ojuju Calabar. But it was just sinister.
It's almost like Madam
psychological.
Even we say it amongst ourselves. Once you see a little child say, "Oh, Juju Calabar," the child will start crying, go and hide between our mother's leg. You know, that was something. You know, there was a lot of superstition.
What are our children afraid of? I stopped beating Korede. I won't lie. I stopped doing corporal punishment because I think she was 3.5. She did something, and I said, "You know, you're going to be punished." And she looked at me and she said, "What are you going to do? You're going to beat me?" I said, "Oh,
you should. I will tell you. What do I always tell you when you talk about?
You're going to beat me.
What is me?
The funny thing is, for me, I'm like, we're 7 children, but I think I'm the only person that was not beating.
But you're not the last born.
I am the last one.
Okay, I'm the last one. I wasn't beating you.
I wasn't beating.
Like, you know what they say? I will see them. When you arrive at last born, you don't tire.
Yes.
I will see that. Then I remember my
brother
my brother would commit an offense, and then my mom would have him kneel down and hold cement. Yes. Cement. And I'll be crying, Mommy, please. Yes. So my own punishment was them punishing my other siblings. There was a time my mom, because I have 2 younger siblings, but they're not like my direct younger siblings. My sister did something wrong, and I think my mom beat her that day. I cried. I didn't eat for 2 days. The girl will be eating and come to my side and say, "This is so real." I'm crying for you. She will eat and come and ask me, "What will you?" I said, "I'm not eating." I said, "Look at, see the person you're crying for."
But another culture that I grew up, I think that's where my love for broadcasting started from. Because sometimes we forget and we don't give accolades to some of our parents. I want to thank you, Daddy, for even instilling in me, you know, that NTA culture in my home.
No, we didn't have a
bedtime
choice.
is after news.
No, we didn't
watch
have a
it with
choice.
them.
NTA, we didn't have a choice.
There was no other thing to watch.
But it was even the insistence on. So they could have easily sent them to bed now.
But in my house, you can only go to bed after the NTA news at 9. So that was where I knew the likes of Ruth Benamizia, Opia, Sienna Owelawa, where I knew Madam Julie Coker, even though I didn't really see Julie Coker. But, you know, everybody, Ajayi, I think, what's her name? Something Ajayi. I think she died some years ago. She committed suicide. It was a very traumatic, you know, story at that time. She was so depressed. You know, but that's where the love for television came for me. I always knew from the inception that I was going to do something on this tube. I just didn't know what it was going to be.
What it was going to be in the long run, yeah.
So as I grew up, you know, from finding yourself, but I really thank him because that's where I learned.
I agree with her.
So much to learn.
So on the flip side, I'm a Nigerian abroad. My own was every day he was taking me to school. Was listening to NPR, National Public Radio, and they had this. They had the local politics, American politics, and international politics. And we would have these conversations on my way to school. And it was so. I remember one class. I had a world studies class, and I can't remember what situation had happened around that time. And the teacher was asking, I was the only person in class who raised their hand and who gave the answer. He said, and I said, my father makes me listen to NPR. Yeah. So it's NPR, it's news, it was Perry Mason, legal shows. I wanted to be a lawyer. It was going to be me and you. But we came back to Nigeria, and I won't mention the university.
You know one thing I like
till date, they have not assessed my transcript.
Tolu will say things, she'll be mentioning things as if we know them. Oh, it's only you that grew up abroad.
Tolu knows gravy. What does my children understand by gravy?
Please, I need to take some comments that have come in. You know, we've opened the phone lines, but we all know we're still in the era of internet disruptions and phone disruptions. So it's been very difficult, but if you can try to get through. So on Facebook, we have Umaru Yakubu Kiriwa saying, what an interesting topic. I beg, try and do another discussion on the complexities of growing up in Nigeria's northeast, particularly Borno State that was insurgency ravished. Yusuf Kazim also says, interesting topic. And I agree because also growing up is a regional experience. It's regional and religiously based as well. Obi Onye says, growing up in Nigeria was really fun. I miss my childhood days. So we are seeing your comments coming up on our live stream on YouTube, not Facebook. That's Facebook. Then we also are streaming, of course, live on YouTube as well. Please keep your comments coming with the time that we have, and we'll take some more.
But do you know that is quite interesting? I think maybe one of these days we should get maybe guests
from different
regions that some of them lived in the north to tell us what the experience was. Because here, like for me, my acculturalization, or I became an Igbo. I would say when I introduce myself, I say I'm an Igbo woman by choice. And I know that I was influenced from when I was a child. Mama Onye that lived under our house, she was the one that, she used to cook egusi, you know, all those things. I would go and play with her. I think that was where I got my own first exposure to food that were not Yoruba food. And, you know, everybody was magnanimous at that time. Not even now that you can't feed other people's children. You can't even give somebody's child biscuits without saying, go and tell your mommy that I gave you and collect permission before you eat the biscuit in a cellophane or something. But this one, they slap the bar and they put rice in bowls. And those were things that I grew up with that gave me a little bit more of exposure. And my father's best friend is a Muslim. So it was when I grew up that I actually knew that there was a difference between Christianity and Islam. Because they used to go with us to church on Sunday.
It's not go with you to church. Almost every family I know has a Christian branch and a Muslim, like both sides of my family. We would, the one I was born into, the one that
they would go with us. They would go with us to church on Sunday. I would go with them to the Moshalashi on Friday, where they learnt the Quran. And that's where I learnt a little bit of Alifu, Bata, Sa, all those things. And if I'd continued, I probably would have had, you know, very good grasp of Arabic and, you know, but those things really, in the early 80s for me, growing up, was really good.
So I think that to some extent we've talked about some of the values that our parents have instilled consciously or subconsciously, but there's also, why do we always choose words that we can't pronounce?
My sister.
I've noticed that with Jessie ladies.
And then we hook
consciously. But anyway,
go to French. The rest of us will study.
But I think that one of the aspects we're not looking at is some of the things that they failed in a way to teach us subconsciously. Yes, you know. So talking about values like handling peer pressure. Some people did not know how to teach their children.
It's not that they didn't know how to teach. It was our parents that were helping with the peer pressure. They were telling you about almost so and so. Almost this.
I don't know how it was for you guys.
Help with peer pressure.
Peer pressure, they will come and meet you say, I don't want to answer. As in, they make it seem as if, okay, peer pressure, who is pressuring you? Okay. And then
but they were.
Did they force you? Listen, they reset your head so badly that, and it has its good and its bad sides, because the good side is that you become tougher and you learn how to speak up and you learn how to, but the bad side is that it just hushes you up. Like,
let's be honest, I don't think it did anything good for me, because if anything, it made me more inferior. So when they talk about, Roma in any church, you know, the next time you go to church, you're like, oh, this person is better than me. Oh, I see.
I even think that, maybe it's now. A lot of us cannot lie. I cannot say that let me speak for me. Would you say you really had a relationship with your parents? No. I think what we had was just parenting from up to down. There was no down to up.
No,
in my own time, I cannot remember sitting down with my father to have any kind of conversation that was personal to me. I was in boarding school from primary 3. So when they come to visit you, it was just for bringing provisions and giving you
and making sure you're alive.
And I know he will stay with us for like maybe 30 minutes.
In all honesty,
and he's gone.
He has fulfilled his
responsibility. Our parents were not showers of love and affection. Our parents never. I don't know. I can't remember my mother telling me I love you. And how? My father, because he's not Nigerian.
But your dad is even super educated. He's a doctor.
Yeah, but he's softer naturally, and I'm daddy's girl. So it was easy to navigate because the man was always laughing and makes it easy for you to. Yeah. My mother will set that face. My dear, you cannot come close.
Wow.
That's just, okay, so what? And then you hear people say, oh, your mother is so, she speaks so well. Your mother is
be thinking, is it the same woman?
So I won't lie, right? I'm going to be very honest. And I think that that's one thing that is not very Gen Z about me, right? In my mother's defense, she kind of parented us the way she knew best, the way she was parented.
Yes.
They didn't grow up hearing "I love you." They didn't. So the way she would tell you "I love you," I remember then. Oh my God! Because we always had fights with NEPA, they would always cut our lights. So I got so used to it. We bought a big mat. So every night at 6:30, we'll spread the mat outside. Of course, then there was no wild animal scare and things like that. So we would all lay down outside and we're gisting. That's how I know a lot of stories from my mom's side.
Yes.
So if there's anything, I'm always looking forward to that gist. Was I hoping that I'll get more, learn to stand up for yourself, learn to, yes, maybe now I am. But then, I mean, some of these stories, in a way,
their own
taught
lessons.
me, yes, because I was like, oh, okay, now I think from what she said that she experienced, I know not to do that. So from her stories, from the way we're always gisting, sometimes it's a movie, Yoruba movie. She's saying things and like, oh, this thing happened before one of my friends, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know not to do that. So
and they're teaching the morals.
Exactly. So I'm learning the morals from the way she's parenting.
They knew how.
Exactly. And for them, love is, I brought this child into the world. I'm feeding you. I'm sheltering you. I'm giving you an education. I'm fulfilling my responsibilities.
You are pecking or you're saying, I don't understand.
It is with exposure and learning that we've realized that there's more to it. So there's a fine line. I don't know if you guys have heard about gentle parenting. I'm sorry, I don't think gentle parenting is for every child.
I don't have the grace to do gentle parenting.
It's not even just the grace. I don't think the world is at a point where we can gently parent, because what our children are going outside to meet. So the I love yous, we used to have dinner every night, and then that's when you talk about everybody's school day and everything, all that stuff. That I'll give them shout out. They really, really instilled the Yoruba culture in me. They could have lost me. I won't even lie. I was the last born in a foreign country, the youngest, went very young. My parents could have lost me.
Totally.
I'm telling you, but they were very deliberate about it. I give them the props for that. OSDNA was Obumasho Sons and Daughters. So every year we're having this massive party in different locations around the US, and they wanted all of us to marry. We did not like ourselves like that. But at least the families, you would hear family names and be like, okay. So when I came back to Obumasho and they're telling me, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember the childhood. I was playing with this sister. And so at the end of the day, we have to give them the props for what they were able to do with what they knew. The expectation is that we know more, we are more exposed and educated, and we raise better children for a different world. I need to look for them.
We have more comments. Honestly, it's good that we talk about these things because it helps us reposition our minds to see how well we're doing with our children.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that someone said to me that I won't forget. They say your parents train you to a certain level. Then when you get to a certain level, you now have to start
train
teaching
yourself.
them. You know, not even like aside yourself now, you have to teach it. The first time I told my mom I love you, she was like, and then the second time I was like, I love you. She said, thanks, dear. But the third time, she started to say,
and she said it back.
Yeah, she said it back. So you have to now start telling them, okay, this is how I feel loved. I get that, you're training, but say it to me. Don't say God bless you.
For my mom, I think
Thanks for coming.
Her first exposure to being touched is when she went abroad to stay with my sister. She went to UK for a long while. And abroad children, they hug and kiss. My mother found that so distasteful. My sister says that before she'll be checking the time, that before it's 8:30, that they'll come and say good night, grandma, and they'll have to kiss her cheek. My mom would have gone to her bed so that they don't have to touch her mouth.
Because it wasn't something she was used to.
But they said after some time she would steal herself and just allow them peck her, and she would go to her room and wash her face.
Oh, let me take some comments quickly before we wrap up today's show, because we have a lot of them. Thank you guys so much. We are dealing with battling phone lines and internet and all that disruption, but you guys have come through. Here are some of the comments that are coming through. Peculiar says, growing up as a pastor's child, my life was not my own. I'm there with you. PK, we live for them and we live for everybody else. We were everybody else's example. I hated it. Then she also says, we were forced to go to the village every December to be acquainted with our roots, language, and extended family.
I
that
like
doesn't
that one,
happen
though.
a lot anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Adewa says, growing up as a military officer's child was quite strict. And Godwin says, I miss the experience. Then Gain Undisputed, man, I miss those days when we used to have street carnivals, carnival tags all over the street to know Christmas is coming. Somebody is shouting out, my beautiful Jasirians, we see you as well. Thank you so much. Adesanya Amazing says, blessings, always have something to say. She's the reason I tune in every time. Our Gen Z ambassador is always repping. Whatever.
I love you too.
What did you just shake?
That
Like a duckling. It's giving duckling vibes.
I thought something would jiggle, but unfortunately,
Oh
there's
my
nothing
God!
jiggling.
No! You didn't see it. No, something.
My body don't
something
jiggle, jiggle.
most
It
definitely
bows.
Jiggy.
Yeah, she didn't see
All
it.
right.
Hey.
So, like I said, that street carnival. Yeah, that's true.
But that street carnival actually came a little later, because I don't think street carnival was
So
like in the
it wasn't
80s.
named street carnival, but you know, different
Yeah.
families would have,
Yeah.
they would host different things,
And there was a build-up
for
to it that was
everybody.
And I miss road parties. Sorry, I'm a local girl.
Oh my
When they used to
God.
have naming ceremony in Isolo, they will not have the
Close the whole
audacity
road.
to close the
Then
main
Fashola
road.
came. Fashola, thank you for
We
that.
were unruly, but
Yeah,
it was
Fashola, thank you for that.
they will have a full-blown party
Yes, oh,
in
and
the
all
middle
street is
of a street
Wow.
road. No, we
That's
were
it.
unruly.
Ah, no, Fashola,
But
thank
the
you
fact
for
the
that.
parties, they
Thank you,
sweet.
former
It is sweet,
governor.
die.
It was
It is
sweet.
sweet, die.
And that
At
food
least
there
you
was
eat
always
free
sweet.
food.
That food was the sweetest food.
And I think the sweetness there, I don't know whether it's the same now. Oh boy, that local.
And talking
food,
about
don't you
food, right?
somewhere
Even
to
in
go?
this generation, it's so sad that now you can't. If they even share food at a party, you just let throw it away, point it away, and give them the plate.
Because
They
it's
don't
just
poison
bland. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Seriously, we had
Memories.
such a fantastic time. And thank you for everyone who kept in touch, who shared their experiences with us through our social media platforms. Remember to keep spreading love, laughter, positivity wherever you go. They say big English. I want to speak and pass. Let's do this again tomorrow. Adomen from me
Don't
and
say
the
goodbye
ladies.
yet. They said we should take another comment. Sorry. They said I should take comments.
Ah,
So,
ah,
all right, very
hold
quickly,
your
Rosemary says,
Adomé.
growing up, my dad used to take us to Federal Palace every Sunday. There's this popular Chinese there. That building, the building in Federal Palace in VI is empty and yet to be renovated. Again on display, they say, oh my God, which kind of life be this? But to God and my parents, because this actually shaped my life, sharing his own
Our parents
experiences.
were rich.
All
Federal
right, we're
Palace,
done.
my food.
We're saying peace. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Adios.